I think one of the key trends also in the last year we saw, and we just see the space heating up and heating up. It's basically the edge space, and edge is something most companies already have in their agenda. And what is really interesting that Gartner says that around 10% of enterprise-generated data is created and processed outside the traditional centralized data center or cloud today. But in 2025, and I mean, we're talking about 2 years from now, they even go so far and say most of the data, so 75% of the data that is required to unlock value for an enterprise is generated not in a centralized data center or in a cloud, but somewhere else. So moving the data where you can unlock the value is one of the key problems companies have these days. And the thing is, what we also see is the kind of they're almost what people call the real-time insights into the business. Basically, when something happens somewhere on the globe, in the snap, you have that in your application where you need that to be, and this requires a lot of thought, basically, when it comes to edge. And on the next slide, what we see is that edge continues to be one of the key trends in 2023 for most industries. And one of the things that I was completely, honestly blown away when I saw this was what some companies are doing today is with multi-tiered architectures. And what we mean with multi-tiered architectures are architectures where you build a central nervous system between basically your edge and cloud. And I give one example. So we have a customer that is connecting multiple factories around the globe, and what they're able to achieve is, although there's a complete different technology stack in all of the factories because they're producing different things in these factories, they still are in a centralized way very interested in things like mean time to recovery, mean time between failures, and so on. And they basically want to make sure if something happens, they can recover very fast, but also making sure that bad things don't happen. Because in manufacturing, this is extremely costly if you have a standstill. This is like immensely costly. And if these companies get basically the downtime down by minutes or even hours, I mean, this is like a lot of money the business saves here, or actually more money the business makes. And what we helped enable them is this kind of multi-tiered architectures, building a central nervous system with MQTT technologies, basically from the machine on the manufacturing line up to the cloud, and enabling them to have even a scoreboard and understanding what's going on all around the globe. So people really increased their efficiencies massively. And they did this with a proper edge and cloud strategy playing together, completely based on open standards. So one of the things also when it comes to edge is we see a lot of data being produced on the edge. The problem here is that also the kind of bandwidth required is a lot. While usually, for example, in factories again, while usually you have a very good connectivity between the devices and so on, still bandwidth is getting really the limiting factor at some point of time, especially when you also bring in cloud. And so what you really need is a very efficient way of basically moving the data. Ease of deployment is, from my perspective, table stakes these days. So the times are over. So I vividly remember the times when it took me multiple days, when I was a software engineer back then, multiple days installing Oracle databases and so on. These days, from my perspective, are over. Deployments need to be simple, fast, in a cloud-native way. People expect, even on the edge, a user experience like you have in the cloud. And also technology trends like Kubernetes moving more towards the cloud really fire that trend even more. Because IT, while the quote is really old, I still think it's true. Software is still eating the world, and IT is eating more OT. and the deployment and ease is extremely important. And the other thing as I talk about is login risk. So please, this is one of the key things. We're in conversation with so many companies currently that really lost a lot of money by making bets and basically got locked in with not a clear way forward of moving out of the vendor lock-in. Use open standards. If you use HiveMQ technologies or other technologies, use open standards so you are not locking out your devices, that you can still have the freedom of choice what kind of vendor you're using in the cloud. There are a lot of opportunities here. And one of the things I really would like for, especially the technologists here in this audience, I really would urge to pay attention. MQTT for sensor networks is not ready for prime time. This will be released very soon. It will be a complete game changer for any kind of edge deployments where predictable latencies are required. It will be a complete game changer for low power wide area networks. And this is something I really think people do not pay enough attention, but this will be a game changer here. And we also will provide more content on it very soon, and I will talk about later about this a bit more. Open standards, I think this is I'm repeating myself here, but really open standards are one of the key things, and also deployment and ease of scale. There is really a lot of opportunities. Getting started with technologies on the edge should be like a matter of minutes or hours maximum, and not more. This is at least our perspective. And there's no reason why this should be hard these days anymore. We're in 2023.